This week in Jamaica Now, the cabinet shuffle, Audley Shaw, Horace Chang and Robert Montague among the big changes, while the media were restricted from the swearing in of new ministers. Government denies MPs got a higher salary increase than other public sector workers. St. Catherine extortionists increasing demands on businesses to pay legal fees for arrested gangster. Antiguan football officials arrested in Kingston on Ganja charges. And Edwin Allen track star Kevona Davis out of the Carifta Games for this Easter weekend. I'm Damian Mitchell and this is Jamaica Now. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has increased the size of his cabinet to 19 and expanded his executive to 26 following a cabinet shuffle this week. Fay Williams has been promoted from State Minister in the Finance Ministry to a Minister without portfolio. Meanwhile, attorneys Alando Terralong and Xavier Main are now State Ministers. With the cabinet shuffle, first-time MP Dr. Nigel Clark takes over the Finance Ministry from Audley Shaw. Mr. Shaw is now the Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries Minister. He replaces Carl Semuda, who is now a minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. There's also a new National Security Minister as Dr. Horace Chang takes over from Robert Montague. Mr. Montague is now the Transport and Mining Minister. That portfolio was previously held by Mike Henry. Mr. Henry is now a minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Meanwhile, State Minister Pernell Charles Jr. has been moved from the National Security Ministry to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. State Minister Roddy Spencer has also been removed from the Finance and Public Service Ministry to the Ministry of National Security. And the Press Association of Jamaica has rejected the explanation by the Office of the Prime Minister for restricting media coverage of Tuesday's swearing-in ceremony for 2 new government ministers and 2 new state ministers. Only the government-run Jamaica Information Service was allowed to cover the ceremony at King's House. Press Secretary Naomi Francis, in a series of tweets, has sought to explain that there was inadequate space because the room that usually hosts such ceremonies is being renovated. But PAJ President Dion Jackson Miller says she finds it impossible to believe suitable arrangements could not have been made to hold the ceremony at another location. The government is denying claims that MPs awarded themselves higher increases than other public sector workers this month. The increases are retroactive to April 2017. According to the Information Ministry, public servants got the same 5% increase on basic pay as all other public sector workers whose unions signed a wage agreement. In the meantime, the ministry said negotiations will continue with some groups in the public sector. The security forces are renewing their appeal for businesses operating in the St. Catherine North Police Division to resist extortion attempts by individuals linked to arrested Klansman gang leader Andre Blackman Bryan. Police intelligence reports indicate that persons loyal to Blackman have been making increased demands on residents in St. Catherine North for extortion money to generate funds for Blackman's legal defense. In a statement Wednesday afternoon, the security forces urged St. Catherine residents to provide information they may have on individuals who are involved in extortion. They also want information on facilitators who are receiving money and those who are benefiting from the proceeds of these illegal activities. In the meantime, the state of emergency for St. Catherine North, declared on March 18, has been extended until July 3. 2 Antiguan football officials have been arrested in Kingston on Ganja charges. 49-year-old football coach Derek Edwards and 48-year-old equipment coordinator Danny Benjamin have been charged with possession of ganja, dealing in ganja, taking steps preparatory to exporting ganja, and conspiracy to export ganja. The Antiguans were arrested at the Norman Manley Airport on Monday, a day after the 1-1 draw against the Reggae Boys. The police say during security checks, anomalies were observed in a black bag that Edwards had checked in. They say the bag was searched in his presence and 4 pounds of compressed ganja found concealed in a section of a knapsack which was inside the bag. The ganja had an estimated value of $16,000. In a bit of sporting news, Edwin Allen's track star Kevona Davis has withdrawn from the Carifta Games in Nassau, Bahamas this Easter weekend. Davis broke the Class 2 100 and 200 meters records at Champs last week. Last year, she won the under-18 100 meters gold at Carifta. But she has pulled out of this weekend's regional meet because of a sore hamstring injury which she suffered at Champs on the weekend. Coach Michael Dyke says the development is very unfortunate, but says it is in Davis's best interest to withdraw as she has a bigger picture, the World Under-20 Championships later this year. Come April 1, veteran journalist Fay Ellington will be the new face on one of television Jamaica's most renowned programs, Profile. The media personality, however, made it clear that she has no desire to compete with the legacy set by her predecessor, the late Ian Boyne. Ellington retires as a lecturer at the Caribbean School of Media and Communication, Carmack, in a few months after 33 years there. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. You may tune in to Power 106 FM for regular updates. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Jamaica Gleaner and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. I'm Damian Mitchell, and before we go, first day on the job for Dr. Horace Chang and Audley Shaw in their new portfolios.